Yeah, well, I guess I want to talk about the state of the NFL. There's two main stories that I think need discussed. One being that officiating on Saturday night between Detroit and Dallas. And we talked about this before we actually even started. Could you imagine? So think about how much, because at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a bottom line business. Because it's not bad for business if Dallas wins. That doesn't matter, right? But in this industry where that game very well could cost Detroit, if they end up winning their first round game, they'll probably now have to go on the road because they'll be a lower seed than they should have been had they won that game. So that'll cost them a home playoff game, most likely, because I think we all think Detroit's going to win a first round game. That's not guaranteed, but Detroit will be favored in their first round game and should win it. Now that means the second round game, they'll have to go on the road. They shouldn't, they in general, they probably shouldn't have to had they won that game, which they should have. That's probably in terms of revenue, what's that, $10, $15 million mistake right there at minimum? Right, home playoff games are insanely profitable. Right, that's why teams are willing to pay quarterbacks $50 million a year. Because if that quarterback can get you a home playoff game, say they sign a 6-year contract, if they can get you 3 or 4 home playoff games, they pay off that contract no problem. It is worth it for that contract, right? So home playoff games are very profitable. Think about who also gets screwed. Philadelphia. Now they'll probably have to be a wild card team, barring some absolutely awful letdown by Dallas this week. So they'll now be the 5 seed. That'll cost them a home playoff game. That's another however many $1 million mistake that's now going to cost Philadelphia. The only team that benefits, of course, is Dallas. They will now have a home playoff game more than likely. So I guess it's kind of a wash with one of those teams. That's a $20+ million mistake. That's a $20+ million mistake. Any other business, screw $20 million. Go lose $1 million for your company and see how long you have that job. I'm going to give you a hint. It's not going to be very long. It's not going to be very long. Try losing $100,000, depending on what job you're in, right? And of course, if you're a stockbroker, you're wheeling and dealing, right? Of course, you lose $20 million, you're probably done. You're probably done. Your wheeling and dealing days for that company are over. You could probably lose $100,000 to be okay, depending on your stature. But my point being, if you lose a significant amount of money for a company, because think about it, the NFL works for those owners, right? So Philadelphia and Detroit are now on the league's ass about losing money because of that call. And then the commissioner works for those owners. You just cost the people that run this league a ton of money. They're upset. They're pissed. They should be pissed. That official, the head official, Brad Allen, and his crew should be fired on the spot. I don't understand how this is even a discussion. Brad Allen should be fired. Should have been fired before he walked off the damn field. It should have been Herm Edwards at Arizona State. Before he even got off the damn field, he should have been fired. It's not even, to me, that's not even a discussion. For Dan Campbell to tell them the play before the game, to brief them on the entire play, he told them who's going to report, when they're going to run it. He said, in the fourth quarter, late, if we need a 2-point conversion, that's going to be our play. Told him the exact play, told him who's going to report, told him exactly how it's going to happen. For them to say, okay, got it. And then in crunch time, when you absolutely have to have it, gutsy call, massive stones from Dan Campbell, pulls out the play. It works to perfection. They did it exactly how they should have. They go up to the ref. He reports. And for him to screw that up in that moment is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. He should be fired on the spot. And this is indicative of a larger issue. To not have full-time officials is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. For Brad Allen to have a second job now it should be his only job now, but that is just embarrassing. To have part-time officials as a 10, 15, $20 billion league, people are like, well, they don't make that much in revenue. If you could sell the NFL right now, if they went on the market, they would get a $100 billion offer. It'd be stupid. Elon Musk would give them 90% of his net worth to own the NFL. I mean, that's a $50 billion minimum value for this league, and you can't pay for full-time officials. It's sad. It's really sad. That's the state of the NFL officiating. That's for one.